Now, who was Jesus according to Islam? The Quran says that Jesus was a messenger of God sent as a sign and mercy for mankind. Now, there have been many messengers, but Jesus is the only one with the title Messiah. Now, what does that word actually mean? To know that, we must look at the root of the Arabic word that we can find in 2 verses of the Quran. Verse 5.6 that says, wipe your heads, and verse 38-33, where Solomon caresses the skin of a horse. So the idea behind Messiah is to be touched by, right? Now, logically, in the case of Jesus, the interpretation is touched by the metaphorical hand of God, right? Now, keep that visualization in your head. Important. Now, the Quran also says that Jesus was born from a miraculous birth placed in the womb of a virgin mother, and that as soon as he was born, he could speak. Now, that's not normal human baby behavior, because we have to develop consciousness and skills and all that. The Quran also says that he was the word of truth and supported by spirit. Now, the Arabic word ruh can be interpreted in 2 ways. Spirit or inspiration. We can see that in verse 58-22, where God says, he supports believers with faith in their hearts and a spirit, inspiration from him, like a light by which we can walk, almost intuitive. The Quran also says that Jesus performed miracles, right? But it was God doing that, like, through him. And that God taught Jesus the Torah, gospel, and the wisdom. And that he made lawful for the children of Israel some things that were forbidden. Now, the key question is obviously, what is the gospel? To understand that, you must see things on a timeline. Before the gospel was the Torah. The Torah contained the law, legislation, 10 commandments. Worship God alone, there's only one, and the rest of the commandments, right? But purely like legislation alone was not enough. People didn't submit. It was not enough. Why? Because your actions are merely a reflection from your internal state. You cannot restrain your hands if you are filled with anger. Sooner or later, you will snap. So there was a need for the gospel, where Jesus came to teach that true submission comes from within. True submission is like how the planets move in orbit. The planets are not contemplating or studying scripture or whatever they're doing. No, they submit it, and God moves the planets. Now, remember the word Messiah, touched by the hand of God, is almost as if God moved Jesus through inspiration, right? That Jesus was born with this consciousness and this wisdom, understanding that the submission comes from within, to let go and let God move you. Now, this could be like a theoretical framework that he explained to us, but we will not understand. So he came to obviously embody that, what it would look like when someone is truly moved by God's inspiration, right? So that God's peace, love, patience, forgiveness, all that which originates from God can channel through us like it channeled through Jesus. And that is the true salvation. That legislation based on actions is never enough, but that your submission must come from within, so that you walk on a straight course like the planets run in orbit. That is the true gospel. Not the gospel that they wrote later, that salvation lies in blood sacrifice. Like, if you think about it, it's plainly satanic. Why did you even believe that? It makes no sense. The metaphorical meaning of laying down your flesh and living in spirit, that is what we should do. Jesus didn't come to die for us, but to teach us what true life is. That is, when God moves you. Because when God moves you, then the result is harmony. Like the planets running in orbit are also in harmony. And when you read the Bible, you can see this. Jesus doesn't make distinction between him and God and what we can be with God. His connection to God, what we can have with God. That the miracles that he performed, others can also do. And you can see that in the Bible, that the disciples performed the same miracles because they were also submitted to God and God did it through them. So this is the true view of Jesus in Islam. He was the sign for mankind to show us what it looks like when someone walks in full submission. The result would be harmony. So as you can see on earth, we are not in harmony. Especially also not those who call themselves Christians. Because they probably thought that as soon as you accept a blood sacrifice, that you're not accountable anymore. No, it doesn't work like that. You are accountable for your own sins. But salvation is right there. Salvation doesn't lie in blood. Salvation lies in submission. Surrender yourself to God and be guided by God's Spirit. Inspiration. Assalamu alaikum. May peace be upon you all.